When it comes to the weather, we don't really get a vote, do we? But a lot of us would certainly put our stamp of approval on today's weather. Hi, everyone, on this Election Day evening. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time, and we have some rain to talk about for a change. How about that? We have a cold front heading our way as Wednesday gets underway. We also have some interesting things to talk about as we head into the upcoming weekend. But first, a review of our Election Day. It was warm as expected. We hit the forecast right on the number, 78 this afternoon, just one shy of the record for today's date, 79 degrees, set just 2 years ago. The all-time November record high for any date in November is 80, so we gave that a run for its money this afternoon. And today was the warmest election day on record, presidential election day anyway, on record for our area, going back to at least 1932. Also of note, this morning's low temperature of 61, a record warm low temperature for today's date, and a far cry, I should say, from the record low, 13 degrees back in 1991. So very notable numbers out there today. And what a start to the month of November. We did have a cooler than average day on Saturday, but that may be the only blue box we're going to see on this graphic for a couple of weeks, maybe. Looking ahead to the longer range, I just don't see any sort of sustained cool weather coming our way. Records were challenged and even broken in a few spots today. We topped out above 80 degrees in Wheeling, in Zanesville, in New Philly, in Pittsburgh, Morgantown as well. Erie, PA also hit 81. Talked about this last week. A southwesterly wind is a down-sloping wind direction up in Erie, so oftentimes they're quite a bit warmer with that wind direction than some of the other northern Ohio and northwestern PA climate sites. Of course, with that colder lake just to the north, when the wind has a northerly component, Erie tends to be somewhat cooler than surrounding areas. In the meantime, we have a cold front heading our way, and there's actually going to be some raindrops tomorrow morning on this Election Day evening. A couple of swing states getting wet in Wisconsin and Michigan, some showers there. Scattered showers lining up along our cold front off to the south. Indianapolis, Evansville, down towards New Orleans. They'll eventually see a few showers before tonight is through. And the timing for the rain here locally will be fine this evening, and in fact a lot of the night will be dry, but it's as a lot of us head off to work and school on Wednesday morning, pretty close to daybreak, showers will push in. Highest risk for showers tomorrow will indeed be the first few hours of daylight. The hourly rain chances kind of peak just after daybreak or an hour or two after sunrise, and then decrease from there. But that being said, they're not going to go to zero until late in the day. There might be a renegade passing shower still in the mix as we head towards lunchtime into the afternoon, and we have that in our forecast because this front is in no big hurry to completely clear the area. Now, the rainfall totals will be nothing crazy, but we're going to take every drop. It was windy and dusty and dry out there today. Winds were causing rustling of leaves, certainly, in most of eastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania. And rainfall totals tomorrow morning will be generally under a half an inch. I think a lot of us are going to see a quarter of an inch, a third of an inch, something like that, before the showers push away tomorrow afternoon. But this is kind of a sluggish front. It's clearing northwest Ohio first thing in the morning, but by the afternoon it's only making it to kind of the 224 corridor, maybe the I-80 corridor mid-afternoon, and then it just slowly sneaks off to the south as we head past sunset for Wednesday evening. That's why we're going to keep that chance of a shower in our forecast for at least the first part of the afternoon. We'll start Thursday with some clouds, we'll end the day with sunshine, and that'll set the stage for beautiful weather for the end of the weekend, the start of the weekend. Hardly a cloud in the sky for Friday and for Saturday. Our weather, believe it or not, over the weekend, especially Sunday, will partly be determined on the eventual track of Tropical Storm Rafael, which is likely to become a hurricane as it goes through Cuba and into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the most likely track right now is kind of right up here, a landfall perhaps by Sunday afternoon in Louisiana, but you can see how wide the cone gets out here. It's not out of the question that Rafael does a number like this and heads over towards Texas. It could even jog a little bit farther to the east. And the reason why that's important for us is some of the moisture from Rafael will interact with an approaching front and may lead to a rainy Sunday around here. But if it takes this more westerly direction, maybe we don't have as much rain to deal with at the end of the weekend. It's all about the interaction between Rafael and this kind of ejecting trough out of the Rockies. If Rafael kind of misses its ride with that trough and kind of goes like this instead, then we're probably not going to see many raindrops at the end of the weekend. But as of right now, we have a pretty good chance of rain in our Sunday forecast. And so beyond that, not much has changed with my thinking if you've been watching Weather for Weather Geeks of late. I think it's going to be warmer than the average much more often than not for at least a couple of weeks, and maybe even through the end of the month and the start of December. Coming up next Monday evening, my annual winter forecast, focusing on meteorological winter December, January, and February. Snowfall forecast, first flake to last flake. Be sure and set a reminder for yourself if you're real interested in the upcoming winter and what nature has in store for us. Will we see any sort of change to the trends in our recent winters? So we'll speculate about that, certainly in a lot of detail, coming up next Monday evening. In the meantime, thanks for watching on this Election Day evening. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday.